I never planned on being a mom. At 28, I was halfway through med school, living in a shoebox condo, single, exhausted, and fueled by vending machine coffee. I was built for charts and chaos, not lullabies and lunchboxes. But life doesn't ask for permission. My older sister, Lena, died in a car accident on a rainy Thursday morning. She was 34. Her daughter, Bella, was 3 years old and asleep in the back seat. Somehow, the car flipped, caught fire, and all Bella had was a scar above her right eyebrow. Lena didn't make it. I remember the funeral in flashes. The smell of wet grass. My mother screaming into her scarf. Bella in a tiny black dress, clutching a stuffed bunny with one eye missing. And then him, Jason, Bella's father. He showed up late, wearing sunglasses in the rain, said 2 sentences at the gravesite, then left. 2 days later, he called me. I'm not ready for this. I can't be a dad. That was it. No court fight. No visitation. Just gone. So I stepped up. I didn't think. I just moved. Sold my condo. Transferred out of med school. Applied to nursing programs. Took a night shift at a local hospital so I could be there for school drop-offs and parent-teacher conferences. I bought a used car and a 2-bedroom apartment near a better school. I cut my social life to zero and poured myself into motherhood. Bella never called me, and Emily. From the moment she learned to speak, it was just mom. And I became one. Not just legally. I fought for full custody and won, but in every other way, too. I sang her to sleep. Learned how to French braid. Sat through 12-hour fevers and playground drama and spelling tests and first crushes. I put her in ballet even though I hated glitter, and I cried when she danced in her first recital. Every decision I made for the next 12 years started with the same question: what's best for Bella? Sometimes that meant saying no. Sometimes it meant swallowing my own pain to protect her innocence. It always meant putting her first. People love to call it noble. I call it love. But love doesn't come with guarantees. And I learned that the hardest way possible. By the time Bella turned 15, something in her started to shift. It wasn't overnight. It crept in slowly. A new tone in her voice. A longer silence at the dinner table. Friends I didn't recognize. Eye rolls. Locked doors. Makeup hidden in her backpack. That strange limbo where your child still calls you mom, but looks at you like a stranger. I braced myself. I told myself it was normal. Teen years, rebellion, identity. I tried to hold space. Give freedom without losing control. She still hugged me goodnight. Still asked for help with algebra. But there was distance. Like she was floating further away, and I couldn't anchor her. Then one afternoon, she came home buzzing. Talking fast, almost giddy. You'll never guess who messaged me. My real dad. My stomach dropped. Apparently, Jason had resurfaced, richer, tanner, surrounded by cars and crypto and something that sounded like a clothing line. She showed me his Instagram. Flashy. Muscled. Posing with influencers I'd only seen in tabloids. He wants to meet. Just for coffee. Nothing big, she said. I told her we could talk about it. She took that as a yes. That Saturday, she was gone 4 hours. Came back glowing. Said he bought her new sneakers and told her how much he missed her. How proud he was. How sorry. He said he was messed up back then. That he's changed. That he always thought about me. I tried to stay calm. I didn't want to be the bitter aunt turned mom. I didn't want to poison her view of him. But the bitterness was there, coiled in my throat. Then she saw him again. And again. Every weekend. Soon she was dressing different. Wearing brands I couldn't afford. Taking selfies with captions like, finally living. She started comparing. Jason says I should be more independent. Jason says you're too strict. He said your job is the reason I never had more. That one hurt. The wedge deepened. I went from her mom to her jailer. My rules became tyranny. My sacrifices, invisible. Then one night, she asked to go to a house party on a school night. I said no. Her face twisted into something venomous. You're just my aunt. You don't get to control my life. My real dad actually cares about me. I couldn't even speak. She slammed the door. I sat in the dark kitchen for an hour, staring at her empty dinner plate. She moved in with him that weekend. I didn't fight it. No custody battle. No begging. I packed her clothes, boxed up her photos, and let her go. She had made her choice. The silence in the apartment was brutal. Her room stayed untouched for a while. I'd walk past and catch myself reaching for the door like she was still in there, sprawled on her bed, earbuds in, half listening to me nag her about dirty laundry. But she wasn't. She was living in a high-rise now. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a pool on the roof, a bedroom with LED lights, and a walk-in closet. Jason posted a video of her on his story, reuniting with my princess after all these years. The comments were sickening. So brave. Such a good dad. She deserves this life. No one saw the 12 years I spent keeping her alive on cold pizza and overnights. No one saw me cry when she got pneumonia at 6. Or when she asked why her mom never came back. She stopped calling me mom. On paper, I still had guardianship. But who cared? She was with her real dad now. I canceled the college savings account the next morning. I'd opened it when she was 4 with $200. I put in a little every paycheck. Skipped vacations, ignored promotions that would take me away from her. It was almost at $38,000. I closed it without flinching. I took her off my health insurance, too. I'd held on through scraped knees, concussions, braces, and panic attacks. But now she had someone else. The hardest part? No one questioned her choice. Not my coworkers. Not my friends. Not even my mother. She's just a teenager, they said. She'll come around. Maybe. But there's a line you cross that you can't uncross. Meanwhile, Jason was busy being a celebrity dad, taking Bella to photo shoots, letting her skip school to fly to Miami, buying her new AirPods after she lost the last pair in an Uber. She posted selfies every other day. Her smile didn't look real. Her eyes didn't match it. I stopped watching. But at night, I still left my phone volume on. I hated myself for it. Like I was waiting for a storm I didn't want but knew was coming. It hit 3 months later. 2:04 a.m. I woke to buzzing. Bella. Her voice cracked before she even said my name. Can you come get me? I sat up straight. Where are you? His girlfriend. We fought. She kicked me out. He's not even here. He left. With someone. I don't know. He's in Bali or something. I don't know what to do. No one's answering. I have nowhere else. I was already putting on shoes. I didn't say, I told you so. I didn't cry. I just drove. When I pulled up to the lobby of that glass castle, she was sitting on her suitcase, mascara streaked, hair tangled, knees hugged to her chest. She didn't look 15. She looked 5. I opened the door. She didn't say a word. Just got in and cried the whole way home. I let her stay the night. But I didn't unpack her things. She slept until almost noon. I made pancakes, out of habit more than kindness. When she came into the kitchen, her eyes were puffy. She didn't say good morning, just sat down and started eating. Like it was still her home. But it wasn't. Not like before. Afterward, I told her the basics. She could stay the week. That was it for now. No promises. No automatic return to normal. I watched her flinch. She didn't expect that. Good. I was done being taken for granted. That night, she asked for the Wi-Fi password. I told her it changed. She'd have to earn it. The rules are different now, Bella, I said quietly. You wanted freedom. You got it. This isn't a reset button. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. I didn't care. The next few days were quiet, tense. She stayed mostly in the guest room, on her phone when it worked, reading when it didn't. No school. No job. Just drifting. I started leaving job postings on the kitchen table. Nothing pushy. Just reminders. She ignored them. On Friday, she asked about the savings account. I laughed sharp, bitter. Gone. Her face fell. You canceled it? I stopped investing in someone who didn't want what I built. She didn't say anything, but something in her shifted. The next morning, I found her doing dishes. Voluntarily. I didn't comment. Later that day, she folded laundry. Asked if I needed anything from the store. I nodded. Said, eggs and toothpaste. When she came back, there was a dented carton of eggs, the cheapest toothpaste on the shelf, and exact change on the counter. But it was something. That night, she lingered at the table after dinner. Do you think I'm like him? She asked. I looked up. Do you want to be? She shook her head. Her voice was small. He said I was smart. That I could be anything. But he doesn't care what happens to me when the phone's off. I didn't answer. Just let the silence sit between us. Later, she brought out an old photo. Her at 7, wearing a paper crown. Me behind her, laughing with icing on my shirt. I miss that, she said. I nodded. So do I. But missing isn't enough. Regret doesn't rebuild trust. It just lights the path to try. And I needed more than apologies. I needed proof. She started cleaning the bathroom without being asked. That's when I knew something was really different. Not just guilt. Not performative. Something deeper. She started setting her alarm on purpose, making her own breakfast, brushing her hair before I reminded her. One morning I found a checklist on the fridge in her handwriting. Apply for part-time job. Ask school about re-enrollment. Laundry. I didn't say anything. I just watched. Her silence changed, too. It wasn't cold anymore. It was careful, like she was relearning how to exist in the space she'd abandoned. We had a few false starts. She snapped at me once when I asked where she'd been after school. Reflex, probably. Then apologized 2 minutes later. I'm not used to anyone noticing, she mumbled. I gave her a soft smile. I noticed. I always did. She didn't cry, but her throat moved like she wanted to. A week later, she got a job at the grocery store 5 blocks away, bagging for minimum wage. Came home smelling like produce and cheap disinfectant. She handed me her first pay stub. I want to start helping, she said. With groceries or anything. I stared at the piece of paper, then at her. The girl who once screamed I wasn't her mother now wanted to buy toilet paper. I nodded. We'll work something out. The apartment started to feel fuller. Not like before, but closer. She'd tell me about rude customers. I'd tell her about a patient who tried to bite me. We started watching old movies again. Not every night, but some. One night, she asked if I still had the scrapbook I used to make her. I did. It was buried in a plastic bin under my bed. We flipped through it together, construction paper pages, crooked stickers, photos of her toothless smile at age 6. She laughed, loud and real, when she saw a photo of herself dressed as a chicken for Halloween. That costume was hideous. I grinned. You picked it. As we turned the pages, she grew quieter. She pointed to one where she was curled in my lap in a hospital bed. 8 years old. Fur in her arm. My face red from crying. You stayed all night. Of course I did. She swallowed hard. I thought he loved me more because he bought me things. But he didn't know anything about me. He never asked how my day was. Or remembered I hate cilantro. I let her talk. And for the first time since she walked out that door, I felt something soften. Trust, not fully restored, but beginning. Earned. She came home one afternoon holding a used bicycle. Found it on Marketplace, she said. Paid for it herself. I thought I'd stop taking the bus. Save time. The chain was rusty. The brakes squeaked. But she was proud of it, and that meant something. That weekend, I came home from a night shift to find her scrubbing the floor. She looked up, startled. I couldn't sleep. Thought I'd be useful. I stared at her for a moment. You don't have to earn your place here, Bella. Her face twisted, like she didn't know whether to smile or cry. I do, she whispered. I left. I said things I can't take back. You let me stay anyway. That's more than I deserved. I didn't argue. We both knew she was right, but I was proud of her. She asked to re-enroll at school. Met with her guidance counselor. Started tutoring sessions to catch up. She even joined a photography club. Her dad hadn't called since Bali. Not once. She never mentioned him anymore. But I knew he still floated in her head sometimes, like smoke that doesn't fully clear after a fire. One evening, she knocked on my bedroom door. I want to update my emergency contact. I looked up from my book. At school. They still have his name. I want it to be yours again. I nodded. Of course. She lingered in the doorway. I didn't realize how much you did. I thought love was supposed to be exciting. Flashy. But it's not. It's boring. It's someone making dinner when they're exhausted. Or packing your lunch even when you don't say thank you. I felt my chest tighten. I was angry, she continued. And selfish. But I'm not that girl anymore. I closed my book and stood. You're learning. That's what matters. She hugged me. Long tight. No drama. Just warmth. She started calling me Mom again, but not every day. Just when it felt right. I never corrected her. One afternoon, she brought home a frame. Inside was a photo of us at her middle school graduation. My arms around her. Both of us grinning. She set it on the hallway table by the door. I want people to see it when they come in. That frame didn't erase what had happened. It didn't undo the hurt. But it marked something real. The rebuilding of something broken. And this time, we were both laying the bricks. Together. Bella came to me one Sunday afternoon with a letter in her hand. She looked nervous, shifting from foot to foot, picking at her sleeve. I wrote this for English, she said. It's supposed to be about the person who saved you. I want you to read it. I nodded, pretending my hands didn't shake as I unfolded the lined paper. Her words spilled out, awkward at first, then honest. She wrote about losing her mom, and the memories of me singing her to sleep when the nightmares were worst. About resenting the rules, the curfews, the way I always said no when it would have been easier to say yes. She wrote about the summer she hated me for refusing to let her quit therapy, about the Christmas I bought her a winter coat instead of the phone she wanted. Then she wrote about Jason, about how exciting everything felt, until it didn't. About hunger and loneliness and sleeping with her shoes on because she didn't know if she'd have to leave in the middle of the night. But most of all, she wrote about coming home. Coming home wasn't easy, she wrote. I didn't deserve a second chance. But she left the door unlocked anyway. Not because she had to, but because she loved me, even when I didn't love myself. I looked up. Bella was biting her lip, waiting. It's beautiful, I said quietly. I'm proud of you. She smiled, a real one. I'm proud of me too. We stood there for a while, just letting it be enough. That night, she cooked dinner for the first time. It was a disaster: burnt rice, bland chicken, laughter echoing off the kitchen walls. We ate every bite. Afterwards, she handed me a small envelope. Inside was her first paycheck stub from the grocery store. I want to start a new savings account, she said. For college. For me. For us. I hugged her, hard. She hugged me back. Not as a guest, not as a burden, but as my daughter. Chosen, forgiven, loved. It wasn't a perfect ending, but it was ours, a new chapter, written together, honest and earned. Some wounds never heal perfectly. Some trust needs time to grow roots again. But in our little apartment, under the hum of the kitchen light, I realized that family isn't something you're born into. It's something you fight for. Something you choose. And I would choose her every single time.